Lamadang Bodhichitta Jambe Yangla Chada Lo Ndim Nyen Dendai Nyendra Nandara Zave Jinyen Dengren Jeje Zeje Nyen Dogra Leband Kanda Zebe Zera Mare Mendo Ndongai Jeze Mare Meze Dongai Nyogo Jinye Jeze Denen Dajen Sajen Darase Yenden Lenzo Jazin Due Jundan Judan Junyen Jende Dole Menzen Jambe Yangla Radon De Marabazanade 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 Maravazana den 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 jen 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 dale demo membarazan padan denje jonglo do ba ye lunde bob nawan zan do zo gangzen da varande ba jungzen de varande no Gomba Jamyan Jin Ging Me Baraya Don Warasho Tabi Duji Yeru Jingame to the Bunima, second of the W. Boy, Shaja, Vishal, Gujata. Yahrabini Belagan and Jebena Junebula de Nome, the London Sumbakan and the Organ Butchela. So one day on Michigan, you put on the Zon Yukin one year, or some Jabun Dende. So Vela Mesha Laguja, one Amajuna Katani, some Jantam Jetu Jalana. Yanda Brazo, Sangia Goban, Burjela, Dagichin, and Goberjana. Gulon Janjo Jodo Zemje Inza Danangi Dideon, this Lava de Gideon did Chenaba Chazan Dango Saba Janju showed Semgero Chase. Dige on the Keranzo then signed the Lava de Jigri, did Lavo Dojita Jibala Dilla. Kai did Twinche Gares Lavaina, and Machu Nanguadani, Semje Tamchik, la Sem Zejigu, and Egidini, Sem Gigi use. Samlo nisu maimba, samlo tsechiki gwenedini, semjen tamjeki dundunga, 장주 쇼도 semgi sibe 천jelada doji tsechiki batene chigiri ganzogi. Dinsang ye dende je kanma doyongdi kinso chasang nyamdola. Dene nga diring gom nyamlen kari chigi yobayi na yang, ane di to semji maju nangkada nyambe semjen tamjeki, ane dewadan dewi gyudang dembara, dungaldan dungalgi gyudang jawi ki shedunga chigi yosane, kulong sangod dene choro chiyes.
Right at the beginning of the teachings or any meditation session, we request every one of us to give rise to the precious Bodhichitta, the aspiration of the Bodhichitta. And as you can see, just now I did the Vajra Mudra while I was chanting the verses of Bodhichitta. And the reason we do that mudra is to remind ourselves that we are thinking of each and every sentient beings pervading the sky, each and every sentient beings, and we are one-pointedly making this aspiration to do this practice for sake of all of them. So the Vajramutta actually refers to the one-pointedness of your mind with which we practice for all sentient beings so that they can be free of suffering and the roots of suffering. Likewise, they are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness as well. So right now, as we chant this, as next time also when we chant this verse of Bodhichitta, you can also do the same mudra and likewise also have the aspiration of doing this practice, whatever the practice would be, listening to the teachings or doing a meditation practice. All this practice we are doing for the sake of all sentient beings, and we make that aspiration one-pointedly.
Tene Gyalsab Jambo Gombeginge, Tigdilam, Dunda de Hijam Tigre, Tigdi Kiran Majuna Tigre. Tene Tseni Yuntum, Sheje number man. Tene Tsezam, Tseni, Chizam Nishebe, Mangbe Chula, Oma Limbatar, Rangi Deba Dangulamasa, Sunshare, that the Dunda de Hijam Tigre. Manzu Mitse singing the Tungdungre, Loja Deva Inaya, Loja that Manche long up to Zosarwa. 숨지 십지 도사로다 시라 두즈민두다 체니 윤통동레 체 윤통동 나라 시에고에게 시에자들 남바 모부시라 요레스 나랑수 딩딩기 시엔 장애요레 남바 상계기 추역이 장애요레 다 장애랍베 모부도와 시에제베 모부도와 다 시에제 모부 요바 인상 시에제 탐체 미지 통동 는데나 탐체 장투그레스 투구 말해간도 이나 같이 모부 장투보다 야보다라와 이나 차상 장투구 말해 다 차상 장투구면 오나 간디 장구그레 슬라바에나 아니 랑기 체 디당 치만이라 펜 가리도구도 디당부 장구그레스 체 디치구르 펜도에 디 장샤바다 체 디당 치만이라 펜도에 장와디 캡상디 체 디당 디치니라 펜도에 캡상 체기로와 디자 랑기 되바디 아니 랑 나줄라 고에디 체 디치니라 펜디 이니 셰자 최디 있는데 부여바 인자 체 디치니라 펜비 있는데 당부 장구그레스 디임바 인자 캐나바다 체 디치니라 펜기 있는데 당문에 시내 두베다 사동 두베세 곰냠는 제디 체 디치니라 펜토에 임바 인자 디나라 미 몽부 메나야 아니 셰다가부 중스
Nicola just recited a verse, but he's also told me to not necessarily translate the verse, but instead translate the meaning. So meaning is like this. Our lives are short. Not all of us live for 100 years. Some of us just live until 50 or 60 years as well. So, and in this short span of life, there is so much to learn. If you look at the subject matters, there's many for lack of better words, mundane world, many subjects there, or dharma of the Shakyamuni Buddha. So there are several subjects that we can learn, we can wish to learn. But can we learn everything in this short life? No, it is not possible. So what we can do is we can learn something that is not only applicable to this life, but also beneficial for the upcoming lives. So now, here we are learning dharma, and in dharma, specifically, we do shamatha and vipassana practices. And these practices, the reason we learn them is not only to benefit us in this life, but for the upcoming lives as well.
라서 대기 가서 미딘디 Gyaltsen 나딘 게 천제를 다다나 미직레 미게 다시 다게 게 천제 임바인상 가부중.
And even if we are not that many people in our Zoom session right now, I'm very happy that you all are here with us. And just before some time, we were only 7 people, and with one more who just entered, now we are 8. So I'm also resonating this with the fact that there are 8 auspicious symbols.
Again, he already left. Oh yeah. They are just the young Gyaltsen Nadin Sinjere, Gyaltsen Nadin.
Gyaltsen Nadin, the 7 bodhisattvas Bola.
Gyaltsen Nadin Sejere. Zumurumuche, Lumburumuche, Lamburumuche, Dr.
So there are 7 precious symbols that we also talked about. And just now there was one person who just came in and the other went out. So now we are thinking of the 7 precious symbols.
And na mibamurumuche la pe debachimbu yoba inzang. Mibamurumuche ki semanamdel dambu tibi kabla ya midin ma ya mare sigdu. Ta nga diyan da tende yabo insare diri.
I have great trust and devotion towards Mifam Rinpoche, and when he first gave the teachings, then also there were only 7 people. So I'm taking all of this sign as auspicious symbols.
Laso, da diring anzo dini kenamba chazang degi shuba nang shinzin tse didan chima niga le pendoyege sheja yinnendi linga yongbare. Dinzang da tse diji niga le pendoyege sheja yinnendi namba sangi ki chue de la tizum gugu yomare. Tse diji niga le pentoba gyaje gyare. Dinzang da susu ki nyamlenji tuba ina, namba sangi ki chue sedi, susu ki yangdaba nyamlenji ji tuba na, tumna, tse diji niga le pentogu yobada gyaje gyare, kenam doba ji gugu mare. 나나나스 카자 말에 오늘 냠래야고 지경이 라마들 따다 종도디 투담샤에 종용디 절르르페 종도디 되니까 상달세 몽구제요 다 된저 문숨 통해요 버튼에 저봐 어디 인상 아주 가지고 말에 문숨 통해요 버튼에 인상 캐나발라 수족이 되는 냠렌지 또 깔리 잡던나 남아상기기 취해당 시제 있는 세대 세대지 일편 또 투가 녀제레스.
So as we were talking about not able to understand everything, learn all the subjects, likewise, when we are learning Shakyamuni Buddha's Dharma, maybe we won't be able to understand or we won't be able to learn everything as well. However, at this very time when we are here and wholeheartedly and one-pointedly practicing the Buddha's Dharma and Shamatha, Vipassana, or all the instruction that we receive, at this very moment, what's important is we are practicing. So even if we don't understand everything at all, but now here, listening to the instructions and putting those in practice, that is most important. And when we are practicing, we may have some difficulty, we may have several kinds of difficulties, but going through all of them and continuing to practice is what matters. And these are not just merely words. I'm not saying these words that the practice is important, the fruition of practice actually happens. These have been told by several teachers in the past, several gurus in the past. And as a result of practice, we also have examples of teachers who has attained rainbow body, who has remained into them after leaving their bodies as well. So this is not the mere words. Practice is important and practice is beneficial.
So, 다 인상 알아서 드린 고디 신행 중에 신내세데 남바상치당 신내 두고에데 신내 장고에데 신내 두고에데 남바상계기 찍고기니 치도 말해 지당의 상계기 취해서데 남바상계 받치고 치도 말다 남바상계기 상계기 취해서데 마주 남카다냐베 선제 탐제기 치도래 다 상계기 수행기 취해데 선제 탐제기 치도 수아래데 취해데 랑당만랑 수수라마래 로아 상계기 취해 켈랑당 말랑 세드 수수라마래 마도 인지미지 켈랑고에 제마 이나 상계기 수아데 아니 마주 남카다냐베 선제 탐제기 치도 수아데 ngazo shegu 그래서.
So the topic of our class today is Shamatha, the calm abiding practice. And Shakyamuni Buddha is not the only teacher who's taught Shamatha or who's taught calm abiding, but the difference is that when Shakyamuni Buddha taught the teachings, he taught it for the sake of all sentient beings, not only for benefit of himself or benefit of just us who are going to practice, but for the sake of each and every sentient beings as well. And likewise, when we practice now, we practice for sake of all sentient beings, and so that it's not benefiting just one person or just the Buddha himself. So he did not teach for benefit of himself, but benefit of others. And currently, we're going to receive the teachings, not only benefit of ourselves, practicing for ourselves, but as well as for all sentient beings.
Actually, Buddha spoke Dharma teaching not only for Buddhism, Buddhist people, okay, Buddhist follower. The Buddha taught the teaching for all the sentient beings, but all the sentient beings want to accept the Buddha Dharma or not. That's independent for the individual. But those who really like to accept Buddha Dharma or want to practice Buddha Dharma, then I can guarantee that the Buddha Dharma can help you in this life and also the next life. There's no doubt. So I already mentioned, there's many proof, how great practitioners, when they pass away, how they can live many days after pass away, yeah? Live body, body can live many days, and also so there's many significant, I can say like that, many signs, yeah, so many signs. This is the proof. That in by example, shine say the kind of shidi dubegi tablamre, shide dubegi chedre. That shide ngela by shide the semjen tamjel bugi yobara. Semjen tamjel ngala shidi go segre man ngala shidi mogo lange yomare. Minyomba ina hamogo. Minyomba maimba jigina 샘 대탕 여긴지나 탐질의 시대의 구구요래 동말 구구요 말해 다 시대 구구요나 시대 주베기 탑 약쇼지 다 시내나 학동 주베들에 대상 시내 학동 탐질라 구구요래 necessary라 탐질라 구구요래.
So shamatha or calm abiding is something we all desire. We all wish to be calm, to abide in calmness. And if you think about it, it's not everyone wants to be happy, right? And everyone wants to be happy, and that can only be achieved by being calm, by abiding in calmness. So again, thinking about it, it's not to achieve calm abiding, but to be able to abide calmly, if that makes sense. It's not about achieving a state, but it's about having our mind calm. And perhaps there are some people with unstable state of mind who are not able to be calm, or who may not even know that we wish for calmness, that we wish to abide in calm. So likewise, we all want happiness, and happiness comes from being calm. So calm abiding and vipassana, shamatha and vipassana is something necessary for all of us.
시대디 구기요나 시대 줍다데 신의 활동 기구는 줍당데 시대 낭네 솔당래 와 잘와 시대 낭네 잘와래 딩뒤기 롭중 딩뒤기 시행 요겐 저기 시대 칠로네 짜기래 와 칠로네 세나 시대라고 셈기 시대디 친이라고 말해 셈기 시대는 낭네 두고래 이 시대의 양쇼들래 인사 시대 낭네 두고고 낭네 살고 그래 짤네 낭네 녀바이나 다시 시대의 약쇼들 이 시대의 짤당 탑람디 그래서나 신의 활동도 짤고 그래.
And shamatha practice or calm abiding, it is not something to be searched outside. When we study several texts, or whenever we are studying, we tend to think that shine or the calm abiding is somewhere outside. But that's not the case. It is inside us. We have to search for the shine inside us. Shine and laktung both, the shamatha and vipassana, this both, we have to search inside. We have to analyze what are the causes, or how we can get there, the methods to attain the calm abiding, shamatha or vipassana from the inside. And in order to do that, we need to learn proper methods to calm abide, to shamatha.
딩디기 아니 시인 있는 시인전 강사들 저기 저는 시대의 친의 용기를 됐네 아니 친구부 이야기 당하게 탑라 먹고 집어라 친구부 이야기 당하게 탑라 먹고 집어라 친구부 이야기 당에 탑라 먹고 지원디 테크놀로지 이야기 당 말아 세력의 이야기도니 이야기 당 말아 이나야 다다 달로 숨게 쉽게 찾아라 세력 이야기도니 고중네 modern science rawa tati lo sumje shibje du gu sare ta dada leondi inde chitaondi ngeman khunzu gi dangbu gi chashidi ani chigmobu yarge di chimbaina semchingi kangal setu gure dungal meba sotu gure dewa di chigmobu yarge den top tu gure dene ani chigmobu yarge droegi chedo ani khunzu gi modern science di yarge tang technology yarge tang barede 다다 아주 두랍 니시다지 나래 온데 테크놀로지 때문에 여기 차서로 와. 세리 여기 좀 휴 차서로데 남섬 시대에 이제 칼롱다운데 정말 체르마도 남기 시대디 두루 껴로 워스라 브레마도 야르 조여 말해. 매바 인사 아치 다 칸레도 되는데 남기 시대디 치 모보 여기다 테크놀로지다 사이언스 여기도 와라 라투비 매바 다야 부르 차서다. 다 남기 시대디 문에 코론 가르스레 남섬기 시대디 남 셈네 쌀고도 이 셈네 쌀당 디가레 메토드 디가디레스나 신의 학통들에 세대 이게 시에
in this modern world, we have also been thinking, or we have been caught in thinking, that the inner peace is also attained by outer circumstances. So let's say if we are going to sit on a cushion and try to meditate, we try to make our outside world, or whatever we can see in front of us, to make it better. Let's say burn a nicer incense for the smell, or get good chairs, get comfortable seatings, or we try to make our outer world nicer to attain the inner peace. Likewise, in past few years, with the modern technology, modern science has really made the outer world, it has developed greatly. We have great infrastructures, we have great facilities in the outside, but when we analyze the current situation, yes, the outside world has gotten better, and we're still thinking that having the good outer conditions can make our inner peace better. We can attain inner peace, we can have calm abiding. But if you really think about it, even if the outside world has developed greatly, but our mind, the calm abiding mind, has only gotten worse. We haven't really achieved the inner peace or the calm abiding in our mind. So the only way to achieve calm abiding is by looking at ourselves. It must come from inside. The calm abiding, all the methods should be applied inside, and these methods, unless you apply to oneself, only having the greater conditions, seemingly greater conditions in outside, is not going to help.
I really want to speak a little bit English myself also, but there some of you, I think, recording, yeah. So my working English is not good for record. Okay. Yeah, that problem the shine that hakdom in my injang. That shine to down the country to Google. Selabaina. Tambu shine to barjebala chake. Kashi chair. The chake kashi as the labi.
So now we have come down to the method of doing shamatha practice. So in order to start the shamatha practice, there are some points that we have to keep in mind, and Khenpo will elaborate on that points today.
Checking some necessaries, yeah.
Yeah.
Shine dubala checking kashi necessary kashi dinga tel shigins.
The necessary points, or I don't know what's coming for just yet, but there are some necessary points that we have to keep in mind before we begin shamatha practice.
Check-ins. Some factors, some implement, I think. That means on the Tambudel Garigure Semundi, any Shine Duberjebala, such a that this Chidang Monguyorangi didn't Dudushiki. Tambudela Kakusimbu, silent Sajadilas Kakusimbu Gugure. Rava Kugi of a chickje in the Tamon Meba. That in some Kiras Gasal digging the Didix Kalakangayore. Kansana Gordonayans, Udashimurova, the Kusmuyung, Kakusumudio, Raikalaka, only Shine Dambu Dambu environment, Chagin Chigdilla, the Garigurias and the Kakusmuyova Chikuyore. Then Kakusumbu Meba in a Dramu Daxona, then same the Tejik the Dem Hadune, Dal, then same two, same pa Gazar Todure, these are the something it's Selma dying, something it's Selma said, someday I'm thinking in Comondi, nobody getting the Jadre. Jadil then same Shine, the same thing name Maduena, Tambo, Shine Dugina, Tambo, Chagendilla, such a Kusubuji Segure. Kusubujila Tegure.
So the first among the important factors to begin practicing shamatha is to be in a peaceful environment, a quiet environment. So for those who are living in the cities, perhaps it's difficult for you to be in that environment because there's so much noise outside. There's just so much commotion. So it may be difficult for you, but to your best ability, you can find a peaceful corner, a peaceful place where you can practice. And this is because when we have too many distractions, especially the noise, the distraction going outside, our mind is not able to sit in one place. And the point of practicing is one pointedly focusing on something, right? So instead of focusing on the shine, on the calm abiding, we end up, our mind focuses on the distractions that we can hear around us. So with that being said, the first factor of practicing shine or the karma abiding is to be in a peaceful, to best of the ability, where it's very silent, so that our mind can really focus on just one pointedly, focus on one thing.
Moma jina gonba saydi wenpa. Tunda chikpare. Moma sangi gonba saydi wenpare. Samden gomsa dila gonba sigre, wenpa sigre. Ina yanda dingsang gomba di kawa jamna yang yin la gomba la deba yogi mi mungu yung sang crowd. Rawa kangba mungu chanda kali dowa. Shen ngune jina gonba saydi zhongba. Nanzuki bazar rawa. Zhongba ni jangcha mungu ki ta rungu chile hinji minji gugu yore. Gomba saydi wenpa rawa. Di bazar nanglo yana di gomba chage yoma. Dingsang gomba saydi kare. Nangla statue, ane pecha, ane music begin. Dene yoba chik samtang dekdo. Mama dene mara gomba saydi wenpa chige sige yore. Samden gomsa chigla gonba sige yore. Di insang mama samden gomba la tambu ne wenpa di kechumure.
If you think of the word gompa, that's a Tibetan word for monastery, gonpa, actually refers to being away from distractions, away from marketplaces, where people can entirely focus on just practicing instead of getting distracted. And usually these gonpas are located in a far rural region where there are not much distractions. However, if you look at the monasteries these days, what we see is it's very close to the marketplace, where there are several people and can cause distraction. And this way, when we think of a monastery, we think of a building with statues inside, with many people, with all the instruments that's blaring left and right. But actually, gonpa actually refers to a place that is away from distractions, away from this noises that can come. And so just like how gompa or the meditation or habituation of practice is done in a gonpa, it again comes back to achieving a peaceful environment, or finding oneself a peaceful environment to practice one-pointedly in.
다 자기 니바들라 가래 구글에서 사 쿠스무지에 차비질라 되니 데 야보 된거 된로 쿠션 야보 여바 되니 쿠션 디가라 야보 여바 자마세 되니 류기 둑당되네 류기 둑당들라 남남 최된 세그래 어다 된종이 레레레레 진 시기 당부기 남남 최된 나네 당부 데 야보지 여바이나 데이딩도 랍중나 샵도지 길중 찍래 남남 최된 나네 샵도지 길중 이나양 나낭식 약바 요게 namgyu shabdorji gilrung de la habit mege tirwa dende na kale khabu shu yore di insa shabdorji gilrung madena tigre dende jine pema gilrung sere dende jine na tigre.
After finding a quiet place for ourselves to practice, now the second important factor is to have a comfortable cushion to sit on. So once you have the comfortable cushion, or whatever is comfortable for you, individually, whatever is best for you, find a cushion. Then once you sit on it, you have to relax. Your body has to be relaxed. And here comes the we have to be in a Vajramutta posture. And we will go through the points one by one. And the first being sitting in a lotus posture. And for those who are not used to doing the full body, the full Vajra posture, you can also just fold your legs and find what is most comfortable for you. And the next point is your shoulders. It shouldn't slump, or it shouldn't be too stiff. Just relax so that your body is straight.
당부 데 샵도지 길룽 데 칼라카보 예반 페미 길룽 라네 nga lakba lameda pemi 길룽 데레진데레 lakba 샵디 I'm showing my hand how to sit your leg, second posture. Yeah, if you can sit Vajra posture. If not, we say Lotus posture. Yeah, so like this. Put your foot can put like this also. Okay, cannot put like this. Yeah, this is Vajra posture. I think quite difficult, those who are now habit, yeah. I think for Westerners to sit like this also quite difficult, yeah. 인상 되니 키랑스 되니 데라 칼레요나 다나 가나스 되니 타이완 당 다나 타일랜드즈로 검장디 다나 쿱샤사 데라 톰부도 시작도와 그거 되네 요나 야고요 깜반 엔디스 되는 나기 말해.
And especially for the Westerners, as just Khenpo mentioned, it may be difficult to sit in the Vajra posture or the Lotus posture. And for that, if you look at the monks or those practitioners in Thailand and in the southeastern region, they have a different way of sitting, so that they put their heels, they sit on their heels. And so if you want, if that is more comfortable for you, it is okay to take that posture as well.
김생 가르지니 인슬람나 결혼수 바지르 보스터 데마tum나 우수 갸요 말해 우수 갸바이나 결혼기 셈데 아니 우 지묵당 신에기 믹바강라 데마tum니 깡바강라 믹데두라 나강바 데 나기두 데 나기두 결혼기 포커스 차선 깡바강 그러자 되니 신에 지교들 베지 맞음어와 와 웨스턴 타임 I think 디산 결혼수 되니 칼레요나 마치나야 그래 야 데데델 칼레요나야 아니 양 대단 셔바되는 조딩 아주 신에세디 곰세디 셈기자래 이나야 류기 두당들을 follow 지와이나 디기 두당들 따라 줘야네 신에 두벨 조부 용이라 양 뺀도 그래 디레마도 네 칼레요나 요 데샤나 디가요 디가 깡바 데나 깡바 나온디 되네 가래 셈기 포커스디 신에기 믹바강라 메바지니 깡바강라 포커스 레도 그러더니 돌아르데 디기요 말해.
The reason we are proposing various postures, like the Vajra posture or the Lotus posture or sitting on your heels, the reason is the point is not to focus on our body. We are bringing our mind to one pointedly practice, right? So please don't get hung over, I must sit in the Vajra posture, I must be in the Lotus posture, whichever posture, as long as you're able to focus your mind on the topic of practice, it's okay. And let's say if you're hung on, I have to attain the Vajra posture, then instead of practicing Shamatha, your mind will constantly go towards that one part in your leg that is in pain. And that is exactly what we want to avoid. So the reason we are proposing various postures is so that you can sit at your comfort, and instead of focusing on the part of the body that is painful, we bring our mind to exactly where it should meditate.
니바딜라 창니 데데지네 대구구열에 내내 디디 때와 태강라 샹니로 창니 데데지네 아니 샹나야고열에스 차 냠샤스레 창니 냠샤 니바딜레 남낭 추에딩이네 아니 숨바딜라 스페인 라마레 디 갈식 장보 숨바치 시바딜라 웅바니디 중세 야 양고레 중세 네 지금 말어 데스야 양 아니 지당 결혼서 차와 춘부이나 롱바디 결혼기 에리아 결혼 결합디 차와 춘부이나 디디 대마도나 야고요 디 대통나 드르렘니 이쿠행가 요래라베 중세 마도바 샤고레 엔지 근데 지금 마도바 샤나 야고요 요래라베 차와 춘부이나 장모이나 정말 남시 장모이나 강다원에 되네 샤나 야고로 봐 되네지네 가르에서 당부샵 도르시길 좀 이바 차니 냠샤 숨바 네 갈식 장보 시바 뽕바니디 자국의 쇼만하지 중세야 장 그래 진대고레스.
So now moving towards another point, Khenpo has been demonstrating all the postures, so please keep that in mind. And first was our legs. The second is our hand. Khenpo just showed us how to place our hand on one on top of another, and where you should land the two hands. It should come down exactly in front of your navel. So that's where you rest your hands, right? And after that, the third point is your spines. Your back must be straight. So that is the third point. And the fourth is our shoulders. It should not raise and become stiff, or it should not slump. Just put raise it enough that you don't feel sleepy, or that your body is straight. And after that is our arms. So it is often said it should be like the wings of if I'm not wrong, the vulture, that your arm should not be too far or too close, because if it is too close, we may fall asleep, especially depending on the climate you're in. If it is too cold, too hot, you'd not want to stick your hands to your shoulder. Just keep it a little bit far enough so that your body is comfortable and you're not feeling sleepy.
But don't do like this, huh? Just put like that, like this. And many of my gurus, says, if your area is quite, climate is quite hot, then don't touch this to here. It make more hotter and you can fall asleep, quite dangerous. Then don't touch, just put like this. If your country is climate, how say, I don't know, pronunciation very difficult for me. It's quite cold, then it doesn't matter, yeah. So it's okay, yeah. So like that. 다시바 나바딜라 징바 중세구 야 슈무자와 마이마 구고 마이마 중세구 나바 두바딜라 제야 야겐라 차스 무셔레 소니디 퉁네 루아 제야 야겐라 잘라 땡아바 나바 징바 중세구 두바 제야 야겐라 잘 dumba mikni natsere pap 어디래.
So now we come to the 5th, 6th, and 7th point of this meditation posture. The 5th being our chin. It should not be too much towards our chest or too far that it hurts our neck. So find the posture that's better for you. Just land your chin in a balanced posture. And the next point is our tongue. So in our mouth, we should slightly open our mouth. The teeth should not be totally closed, and the tongue should touch the palate. So slightly touch the palate. So you can also roll your tongue or somewhat. So find that posture that the tongue touches the palate. And the next being our eyes. Our eyes both should be focused towards our nose. So towards our gaze should be towards our nose.
Di che again lambo che again la janna gari yore sende di mikpa kambukli mare mikpa dry chagi mare che again jawa na che again maja ayo ina khad jungse mazum ke che again majana mikpa lamsan dry chani then lo jigro cough yeah insan kale khabo yore insan mik dinaze pop sengende mik nazel pop sengende inji miji push che marda yang your eyeball di sugeg na gire ro
yeah
digas ter pelejini dikala sha di shak bi gobe jumchen me shegi.
So the reason we roll our tongue and touch our tongue to the palate is so that our throat does not go dry. So when we do that, when we don't push our tongue like that, our throat becomes dry easily and we tend to cough. So in order to avoid that from happening, we slightly touch our tongue to the palate. And when it comes to eyes, yes, I just said point your gaze towards the nose does not mean you should one-pointedly look at the nose. Like, don't force yourself to do that. It just very slightly gaze your eyes so that it's pointing at the direction of the nose. So you do not have to force and look at your nose all the time. So, just relax and just gaze towards it.
슈크추무 마당와 슈크추 배코는 만좀 바지네 딩딩 강아 샤고래 이나 미카시기 곰잡데 믹tum나 야부두 랑게네 요래 이나 나랑기 삼자다 나랑 녜말라마 줄람 숭나 레 담보와 믹만좀나 야 그래스 믹만좀바 콜로스 마지나 야 그래스 믹만좀네 나강라 따와이나 치로기 나와디 아니 통통그래 살부통 말해 믹나절다나 디니 미도와 모식 말해 그래서 믹좀바이나 간조 니 교구고 니 용래 가네 간조기 되니 시내 두봉디 셈디 지와다 것 파세지도 징근닝은 셈 지와디 교구리 그래 믹좀바이나 디인산 레 담보 원래 징구 숙춤바 여러봐 간조 레 담보 곰 야만닝을 징구 배식춤바 여러 양면 징와 숙춤바 양면 고여봐주 디인산 믹 당구레디 믹 춤부 당와 마이마 믹 딩딩 당니 나젤 파바이나 치로긴 나와드 살부 메바 아니 낭낭라 싸우 메바 인상 되니 살부 양 나와드 살부 연나 그러지 겉바 숙춤이 용 그래 믹디 율라 숙춤부 다이렉트 나와이나 얌상 겉바 숙춤이 용 그래 셈치칠 트럭이래 믹 쯤바이나 지와 용 그래 디니가 마요 징근니가 럽디 마요게 쳐도 믹 당나야 나젤 파와이나 아니 살부 메바 인상 겉바 용 말에 믹 쯤 메바 인상 지와 용 거요 말에 디팽기도 와
When we are practicing shamatha, there are 2 points we want to avoid. We don't want to feel lazy and we don't want to be distracted. So that's exactly why our gaze should be towards the nose, or just close and just very close to oneself. And we are not having our eyes wide open. I mean, we have seen some deities with their eyes wide open, but we are not doing that, because if our eyes are, if we are looking up or our eyes are wide open, we see several things and our mind can easily get distracted by looking at these objects. Likewise, so that was the point of distraction, right? Like we may get distracted because there are more things you can see. And we also don't want to close our eyes, because when we close our eyes, we can easily feel sleepy, so that laziness can catch up with you, and keeping our eyes closed can also distract you by making you feel sleepy very easily. So our eyes also, yes, we gaze on our nose or towards our nose. What that does is, just look at yourself. When we gaze at our nose, our eyes are just slightly open. It's not closed, it's not wide open, but it is just slightly open. And when our eyes are slightly open and gazing just towards our nose, what happens is our peripheral vision, all the objects around us, it blurs. It's not clear. It's not clearly seen, right? So there is less room for distraction. So likewise, our teachers, and not only me, but our teachers in the past have also emphasized it quite a lot, that especially as a beginning practitioner, we should not close our eyes entirely when we practice, because we can easily feel sleepy, easily feel lazy. And so just have your eyes slightly open. In that way, you don't see clearly your peripheral vision, everything in front of you, so you don't feel distracted. So when we are we have our gaze slightly towards our nose, just in front of us, we avoid both feeling lazy by not feeling sleepy, and also avoid distractions because we don't see other objects in front of us very clearly.
롱당 남도 용용용이래 송절에 대인상 간족이다 남바상계기 최낭 시행디 되는 짜롱 틱레세디 배 계신부를 따짜당 롱세디 남도디 롱슉 남기 롱디 요아가제 슉추모 스피드 요나양 이 스피드 단다 되니 요발라 디가 남도 멍부 용거래 롱든 짜디 장부에나 롱디 배 시와용 롱이 스무트 용거래 롱디 장부 차나 남도 용용용거래 이 마인상 류 장부 돼야
These 7 points of meditation posture is extremely important, because when we have kept the 7-point meditation posture, when our bodies are straight and when we are able to attain that posture, what happens is our channels become straight. And when the channels become straight, the wind inside also flows nicely. It's not too forceful or too slow, just flows enough that we have less thoughts. So when our body is straight, when our meditation posture is straight, our channels become straight, and because the channels are straight, the wind flowing inside is also more smoother, and that leads to less thoughts that arise in our mind. So when we are learning about Shakyatupala or Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings, we often come across the word called Salung and Tigle. This is the higher practices where the more you attain this practice, the more you attain the state of mind where your winds are flowing naturally in our body, in our channels, that our thoughts also become less and less. The harsher or the faster the wind blows, the more quickly more thoughts arise in our mind. So in order to avoid that as well, is emphasized to attain a meditation posture so that our channels are straight and the winds also flow in a way that our mind does not give rise to several thoughts.
So, then that subu dedandi ngazuchik dene diring nganzo gari shegi insala undi then ukjingup setting e dodu she and ngazu kamanga juji gumjagi is uk jingum de la dang wi yak sho di uk jingum le dang bo wala ji dang shine se di gomong di mikba shine la mikba gu yor shine la mikba gu sa mikba de la uk jingum la mikba uk jingum la de ne ani shine gumye mikba lagu ku de la de ne mikba gumye mikba de ngara yigi level roba da de nel de ne gumye 그 다음에 착전 도르지에 당 잘디 당들지는 꿈에 나 소용 그래 이나야 디난 탐제나는 레 당부와 당부도 우증도 약쇼래 그래서 우글라 되는 카도 입생인데 매바 인자야 남도 람상 남도 뭐 미용 와라 팽기래 양 나라서 상기기 꾸도당 대조 당부라는 건바이나 꾸디 서버여래 꾸디 전부도 중용 입당 카도 여바 인자 양 남도도 스트레일라 양 년가요 봐 디사 당부 우증문랑 가서 되지 곰 되네 니마직니 세션 직니라 우지무곰 되네 가도 되네 라구곰 되네 갈래갈래 되네 제 차시 아니 야구 중나 다 되네지니 툴라샤버지 다 드링 간조 그래 당보딩 안하서 되네 류남낭 최든 되기 시바나시 딱다 슈 디슈 사회제라 되네 우지무세도 우마당 야 템바델라 나바 가요 말에 입 가요 말 우라 나 가도 가 공고 말에 이나야 셈나라다 우마 드송데 아니야 우야 랩송 데데 차추스 받지다 몽몽지나 양남 셈딱다 대투 말에 차추스 제 양아저 가르세데 데시티스캡 양 차추스 제 데네지고 그냥 장디가 그냥 데네지나 야고 요레스
When we practice shamatha, we always need a object to focus on. So before practicing shamatha, we just elaborated on the posture, right? So we have done our 7 points of the posture to meditate. So now I request all of you to be in that posture to the best of your ability. And then we focus on one point right now on our breathing. As a beginners, there are several objects that you can focus on. It can be your breathing, can be the kundra, or there can be several objects to focus on, but now we will focus on our breathing. And as a beginner, we can easily get distracted by several thoughts that may come to our mind, and it's easy to get distracted as a beginners. So now, and here, having attained the posture of meditation, we focus on our breathing, where we are just simply being aware of breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and we count so that we will be aware, breathe in, breathe out for about 10 times, and then we relax, and then we resume the being aware of breathing again. So here, once again, wrapping it up, we come to the posture of the 7 point, and then we focus on breathing, and Khenpo will lead us where to stop and where to resume, and we will continue focusing on our breathing also in next 2 sessions. And once we have gotten better, once we feel like we have gotten better, then we do some advancement in our practice. So now we will focus on our breathing. Khenpo, you're muted.
단단 아주기 세션 찍니를 지나 남상 신의 욱징물라 야게 야구차야 되게 제와요 말에 이나에 캐나서 나라 양양게 장고를 냠들러와 장선한 아주디 클래스 세션이다 두다르를 니마르마 요마르와 사바상 마상 메바인자 두다니 기링라니 캐나서 사바상 마임비가블 캐나서 답버 장다 되네 아주 세션이 능라되니 아주 이주 징물라되니 also 차기를 땡기도 딘산되니 욱징물들라 욱 캐나기 내추럴 ugringdungande yo dirangre mado ugringbuzu seshuk yagu mare jingboyana tungdung so gu mare korang raso so ladini mi so la ugringdung na so yumure di bainza so ugringdungande yo dirangla ma ta di ma dosong de ya tin de ma dosong de ya tin de jidang de nangla yang de shimong bu jayo de di ringdung la de yang mi gwa jayo de di so ug samdang ne samdang ro jes.
Also keep in mind, and a little disclaimer, that we're not trying to achieve the best quality shamatha within 3 sessions. That is not our goal. We have our classes just once a week. So I'm also advising you guys to practice also at home. So the technique I'm teaching you right now, and this you have to continue practicing also at home, so that when you come back, we can better practice. So please keep in mind that we're not going to be perfect in 2 sessions. We're just merely learning the techniques that we are going to continue practicing at home. And when I said breathing, focusing on the breathing, we focus on our natural breathing. So we don't want to, if we feel like our breathing is a little slow, we are breathing in and out a little slowly, we may want to pace it. We don't have to do that. We are not going to start breathing more forcefully, more quickly, or if we feel like our breathing is too fast, then we try to slow down. No, we are not altering our breathing. We are just merely focusing on our natural pace. So however we are breathing, just focus on it, breathing in and breathing out, and continue practicing at home so that we can able to improve.
Also, sharp dorji gildung am dayang peme gildung shu. Chani nyamsha lagwa yemadi wola yewa gangla di tewini di tu. Charangsugi tewa ki khaduk dila sha. Ane gesik dambo. Pungba chungse ya kya jingba chungse magu. Charangsu nga dana de camera ngegi di laptop di ma chokse di pe masi wola yo ya tongdo. Dine jigu mare. Dene shingba chungse gu che ya genle jar mingni na jar pamni dene mingba de u de la u ma josong de u yang ya ten de ma josong de ya ten dene 탱마 쥐바도 아니 데다 내기 다당 모든 차스나 지번이 양 삼샤 아니 게 드시도 양들 지죠.
So now we all are going to bring ourselves to the meditation posture. If you can, do the Vajra posture. If you can't, attend the Lotus posture and sit with your Lotus posture, and then put your hands, as Kimberla just demonstrated, with your right palm on top of left, and then place it right in front of your navel, and then have your back straight, relax your shoulder and your arms, just relax enough that you don't feel stiff. And after that comes our chin. And right now, because of the way my table is slightly on a higher position, so it may appear to you as if my chin is slanted in the back. So no, it's just appearing like that. Now, as we explained previously, place your chin just balanced so that it's not towards the sky or towards the chest, but just enough. And then your tongue is touching your palate, your mouth slightly open. Then your eyes are gazing towards your nose, so in that small region. And then we focus on our natural breathing. We're just aware that we are breathing out, breathing in, and we continue to focus on our natural breathing until Khenpo clicks his finger. And when he does that, we relax, then we resume.
다 고죽데 엔데지기 마 삼샤데 엔데지기.
So when Khenpo clicks his fingers, that denotes post beginning of practice and relaxing, and then we continue.
So chinazo danga jam go chinzo danga jam na yang ji ni se yang danga kang la sem lege ngai ya ngi di jini ko tu di tak ma sha di tak chi gi dire ma de chinazo danga ma jam na tigiri dango.
You do not have to count your breathing. Do not go breathing in, breathing out, one, breathing in, breathing out, two. Do not do that because if we do so, instead of focusing on our meditation object, which is our breathing itself, we focus on our counting. And in order for you to avoid that, I'm flicking my fingers so you know when to start and when to stop. So please do not count your breathing.
다 ugla migbate ugla ibiyo mara kato yo makani migbate orsa ugdila maje bache demba says do ugla demba te gore komi yakyo dirwa ugdila demba di chirangi demba di ugdi maje pala chin deda digara ugla migbate bare ugla demba chin shemaji gang doshana danga gangla chi ni se count gang doshana de migbate sem de migbate chi grema so shemaji gang doshana de hine re mare subu end de na pengi mare di inza di semesha.
When we are focusing on our breathing, which is our object, and instead of doing that, if we start counting, we do not achieve the one-pointed meditation, right? So when we are focusing on meditation, focusing on our breathing, the main point here is to be aware that you're breathing in, you're aware that you're breathing out instead of counting. Because if you are counting your breathing, your mind is not one-pointedly focused on our object, being aware of your breathing. So instead of focusing on two objects, that is a breathing, and then counting how many times you're breathing, we'll be just on one-pointedly focus on being aware that we are breathing, and that's the best kind of practice as a beginner.
Focusing on breath means keep aware to the breath, your breath, yeah? So if you can, keep aware to your breath means you're focusing on your breath. So, okay, we'll do again and then we will stop. My time is almost finished. Okay. Also, the region Gumbrojis.
There's some construction noise right behind me, so I'm sorry, but I didn't hear you.
Yeah. The region Gumbrojis, the region Gabrojis, Nangla.
So I request all of you to continue practicing like this also at home until our next session.
Now
we dedicate our merit.
Manje bana gejure je gewa nyamba 공내 공도 배워줘. 라소 차상라 양부진 슈르지. 바이바이.
Thank you.
Thank you.